Okay guys, got another project here on the old C10. Still kind of working on the cooling system a little bit. What we're doing now, and I've alluded to this in previous videos, we're going to be making a plate that's going to hold down the radiator. So we've made some modifications. There's a two-part series of videos where I made the fan shroud, and I'll pop a card up here that you can check that out. Also, another two-part series here on the coolant reservoir, and again, I'll pop a card up here, and you guys can check those out. They should open in a separate window, so if you want to open those up and continue watching this or flip around, whatever floats your boat, go for it. So this video, we are, like I said, making the plate that's going to hold the radiator in place. So I've got some material for it. I've got two pieces, 1/8 inch 6061 aluminum. These are what my metal store calls drop. Other places would call it rem for remnant or remainder. These is just cut pieces from somebody else's order, and they sell it cheaper. They sell it by the pound basically. And then I've got some bungs, and I've showed you these before. I kind of alluded to these in the coolant reservoir video. They are from Bung King. We've got two different kinds. We've got a steel weld-in bung, fairly small little thing. It's an open-ended bung. Then we have these aluminum ones. Now these are blind, so they don't have a through hole. And these are also 6061. I'm not sure what the grade. I imagine just mild steel, something like that. Both are for 3/8 inch coarse thread hardware, so 3/8 of an inch diameter, 16 threads per inch. So we have those. We got our material, so let's just go ahead and get started. The cooling system has been drained. I've already drained it, and I've had the radiator in and out. We're doing some other things, and I'll show you that. I'll actually post up right now some still photos. These are brackets that I made to kind of raise up the radiator. And the reason I did that was because on this truck, on the inline 6 is actually fairly tall. And so my radiator cap was actually lower than my water outlet. So I was getting an air bubble in there. So these are the brackets that I fabricated. They're just simple aluminum brackets. They were 80 thousandths thick material. The same material, the leftover material that I had from the fan shroud build. So there's no video for those, for making those little brackets, those little risers. No video for that, just photos. All the photos are on my Facebook page. You can go check that out. And again, I'll pop a little card up here. Hopefully it'll work. Hopefully it'll link you over to my Facebook page. But again, no videos on making those little riser brackets, strictly photos. So the radiator's in. I'm going to leave it in right now. We're just going to go ahead and get started. There's a few pieces that I'm going to make to begin with, and then eventually we will have to take it out, and then I'll show you where all these little bungs and everything will get welded into. So let's get the saw and get everything set up here on the workbench and get going on this. Okay, so the first piece we're going to make is actually going to go right on top of the radiator here itself. It's going to be close to the top of the radiator core, but not flush, not sitting on it. So it's going to go cross like this, roughly at about these 2 points here. We'll kick it up and then kick it flat again. In that flat area, that's where I'm going to be mounting these radiator support pads. This was kind of rough looking. I should probably get online and order some new ones. I've been looking around online through my local auto parts stores. Nobody seems to carry these, but several of the vendors, the online vendors that I've used before, do carry these. So I'll get online, I'll order up some new ones of those. But first piece, flat across here, kick up, kick back flat, and so that's what we'll make. We'll get everything set up on the workbench, make a few cuts and a few bends, and get this piece fitted. I've been over at the truck doing some measuring, and we're going to start our first bend 1 3/4 inches back from the edge of the material. So just make sure all this is tight. Alright, so we're doing kind of a dog leg bend here, and the rise of the bend itself, going from kind of close to the radiator up to that support pad, is only a 1/2 inch. So we're not going to put a lot of angle into these bends. So let's go ahead and hammer this one over. Alright, let's go with that. Alright, so this little portion needs to be roughly 1 inch in length. Clamp that down. Double check my measurement again. Alright, still good. Put another clamp on there. And we'll hammer this over. Alright, that should be good, so let's take it out and check it. Not bad. Looks alright without the other side being bent. It's hard to tell. Let's do one thing. Let's at least check that rise, or that drop, however you want to look at it. Let's see how much we got. That's showing 7/16, which is good. We were kind of looking for about a 1/2 inch, so we're only a 1/16 shy there. Same on that side, so it's even all the way across, which is always good. So let's just bend up the other side of this material and then come back and test fit it. Alright, so I got both sides bent up here, so let's give it a test fit. So if I push down on each end, oh well, we got at least 1/4 inch between the plate and the radiator. Flex this, but it's not going to do that because we got several more pieces that we got to add here. Now I'm actually, you know, with the fan shroud project and the coolant reservoir project, I pretty much tried to bend it as much as I can. Now I've bent this material, but I'm probably not going to try and bend anything lengthwise. It's a little bit thicker and it's a little bit more difficult to do. This is 3 1/4 inches, so this cross section is not much to be able to bend over something that narrow. But you know, something that's 30 inches long like this, trying to bend it over, I think I'm going to try and avoid that. So we'll be doing a lot more welding on this project than we did with the fan shroud or the coolant reservoir. So this piece fits pretty good, so we'll move on, and we got to make a piece that goes down like that. We got to make a piece that goes on top here, and another piece that kind of goes in that manner right there. So let me get the tape measure out, and we'll keep going. Okay, we're ready to make our next piece. One thing I wanted to point out right away, I pulled the wiring harness away from this area right here. It's actually just kind of hanging down here in the wheel well a little bit. It was in the way, and really all it was plugs for the lights and a little circuit breaker over here for the electric fan. So, but this is the piece we're going to make. It's going to go down like that. So we've got an overall length here of 29 7/8. So that's going to be our length that we're going to need to cut. And I'm thinking I'm thinking 3 inches down is what we want, because there's going to be a little bit cut off, because like I said, I have a little bit of a hard time trying to make a real straight cut with the jigsaw, but I can make a real straight cut with the bandsaw. So There'll be a little bit cut off of the crooked cut, so it'll probably be something like 2 3/4, which is fine. Oh, that's plenty. So let's move over to the workbench and cut out our next piece. One other thing I did off camera is I built a little fence on the bandsaw to straighten out this edge right here. This was the jigsaw cut we made for the first piece. So I made a fence. This edge right here is a sheared edge from the metal store. So I know it's at least straight. It's not necessarily square with the end or anything like that. I haven't checked. That's not really important as long as these lines are parallel, as long as I get a straight line. This is the little piece that I cut off. At its thickest, it's maybe 1/4 of an inch, and then at its thinnest, it's about 1/8 of an inch. But that's junk. Don't need that anymore. So I said 29 7/8, but the other one was 30 inches, so we're just going to go ahead and cut it 30 inches and trim off a little bit. The little bit that I will need to trim off. So we'll measure this out and get this cut. All right, let's try this. Look. Well, we've got interference with the radiator hose on this side and this little plug I made. It's a heater hose kind of plug. So we're just gonna have to cut an angle in each side to gain some clearance there. So I'll probably just, may not be 45, it may be 25, 30 degree angle there, something like that. So let me look at it a little bit more, make some marks, make some cuts, and then we'll come back. Alright, so I made a cut on each side, 35 degrees. I think that'll work. And yeah, I think that's going to work. So now what I actually have to do, is you can see the fan here. Basically, I want this piece to be flush against this piece, this edge right there. Actually, it'll be this edge that I want the top of this to be flush with, so we'll also have to cut some material off there. But for right now, we got to make a little bit of a radius. We got to allow some room to drop this down, so we got to make a cut in here, basically the radius of the fan, to follow that curve. So that's pretty good there and there. So I'm going to get a center line here. Right there. And a measurement. Let's go 1 1/4. So I'm going to go set this up on the workbench and we'll draw out our radius. Alright, here's the mark that I made when I was mocking it up on the truck itself. I extended that mark up, made another mark there. That's that 1 1/4 of depth that we want this to kind of go down. So I measured the fan. It's a 16-inch electric fan, but there's some shrouding around there, so the true outside diameter is not 16 inches. It's really closer to about 17. So basically, I'm going to do an 8.5 inch radius. So I'm going to set my 8.5 on that line. I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to hammer a nail into my workbench. Not deep, just fairly shallow so I can pull it out easily. I've got some 1/16 inch aluminum TIG filler rod. I'm going to go to there, right at that point, I'll bend it over. I could measure this out just as easily, but works either way. Alright, so we got that. I'm not sure if you can see, yeah, you can see there's a clamp right there. This piece of aluminum is clamped to the table. So we set our Sharpie in there. Come on. And just sweep from side to side. And there we go. We have our mark to cut out. Alright, last thing I want to do, that fan shroud, or I should say the shroud around the electric fan, not the one on the whole radiator, but the shroud, the plastic shroud around the whole electric fan, right up here where this piece is going to slide over, it's actually flat across there. And I measured it out. It's 5 inches from the center line. So we'll just set our scale at 5 inches. I'm sorry, I set the center line at 2.5. And just kind of where it intersects over here at 0 and where it intersects over here at 5. Just draw a line across. That's about 7/8. Right on 7/8. So we know that line is straight. So we're not going to cut this up here. We're just going to cut all this right here. Kind of curve there, straight across there, and curve down, just to follow the lines of that electric fan. Okay, well, hopefully you can see this little flat area. Let's see if I can get that wire out of the way. Maybe that'll clear it up. But there's a little flat area right there. So let's give this a test fit. So, flush there. Flush on that side. That fits pretty damn good. I like it. So we'll take these two pieces off. I'm going to set these up on the workbench to draw this line right there for this little bit of material that we need to cut out from this little dipped area. So we'll take these out and we'll go draw that out on the bench. Alright, so let's get this drawn up. Corner to corner there. That looks good there. I think this piece right here has a little bit of a bow to it. I mean, it's easy to bend out of there. It's just, you know, we'll fix that when we weld this all. But I want to check the depth there. That's 7/16. And that's also 7/16. And you remember when we did measured our bend like that, that was 7/16. So if I come here to the center, we're at 5/16. So I'm going to measure off 7/16. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is draw in each corner like that. And then we'll just connect the dots and make sure we got a straight line here without any bow in it or anything like that. All right, let's test it with our other piece. That. Looks pretty good. So I've got the welder set up in the garage, so I'm actually going to prep this material and go put some tack welds on it. I'm not going to fully weld everything, but I am going to go and put a few tack welds on it. So let me get this prepped, jigged up, and then we'll go put some tacks on it.